PGA European Tour is brought to you by Volvo.
Hello and welcome to highlights of day 2 of the Trophée Lancôme. Last week it was the stunning scenery of Crans-sur-Sierre, and this week the style of Paris society who make the trip to Saint-Nom-la-Bretèche close to Versailles to see and to be seen, and occasionally one or two find their way onto the golf course. Well worth the effort, a high-class lineup as ever for the Trophée Lancôme, which was first played for in 1970. You see the situation at the end of the first round. Jamie Spence leading the way from Colin Montgomery. Jesper Parnevik also going well with Andrew Coulthard and Stuart Cage. Darren Clark with a 67. Par here is 70, 6,840 yards. Ian Woosnam on 67. The race between him and Monty for number 1 in the Volvo rankings. Fascinating. Bernhard Langer 67 for the broom handle putter. And Peter Baker also a 67. Well, good evening, I'm Steve Beddow, and let's first take you back to this morning. And our feature group's coming towards the end of their second round, having started at the 10th hole. The course is tree-lined. There are 2 courses here, the red and the blue. A composite test, 7 from the blue and 11 from the red. And first let's take a look at Nick Fowler, who was disappointing yesterday on his return to Europe. He's here for 2 weeks, going to play next week at Loch Lomond as well. And he was 73, 3 over yesterday. Ian Woosnam, though, in the lead at the moment, making his bid. Here he is, tee shot at the 8th. It's a harder tee shot this year. New bunkers have been put in. Woozy, a 67 to open, and 3 under so far today. Beddow complaining of a sore left hip, which would explain why he was probably blocking the ball to the right yesterday, not clearing the left-hand side. Going a little better today, but just on the borderline for making the cut. Conditions, you just see the trousers and hair being ruffled, the wind swirling around the trees and starting to grow in strength. He's 1 over today. 65 and ties will go through. And here's the 9th hole, downhill towards the clubhouse. Closing hole for many of the players. 33 birdies so far, but you can see with a pin cut on the left-hand side of the green, that water does come into play. Other side of the water is the 18th. And here's the Volvo PGA champion, Costantino Rocca. 68 yesterday. And he's 2 under today, 4 under overall, but he's let that go way to the right. May even be on the 10th fairway or beyond. Rocca, who missed the cut at Crans-sur-Sierre last week. Woosnam at the 8th, 509 yards, but not able to get up in 2. He's also been in the wars, back pains, sore neck, in working out in the 3M physio's bus, and 1 or 2 painkillers as well. And a trawling schedule to come for Woozy. And Costantino Rocca playing with Andrew Coulthard and Nick Fowler. He's full-time in America these days and done pretty well, hasn't he, to win the US Masters. And pretty close at Livingston St Anne's in the British Open, 4th place. The 29-year-old with 39 worldwide wins. Nicely down to the angle of the dogleg and just a short iron in. You see it's quite a testing pin placing with the wind off the left coming in over the water. Now we haven't got quite the star-studded field that we would normally have. Normally we have 1 or 2 world-class Americans in the field, and Chip Beck is our American this week, who's been a very fine player and still is, of course, 3 times a runner-up in major championships. But the clashing with the President's Cup means the likes of Freddie Couples not here, and also 1 or 2 of the international side, Robert Allenby, the former winner, Frank Nobilo. They're all playing across in America. And Chip, who opened with a level par 70, should be here for all 4 days. Of course, it's only the last 2 years, last year and this, that there's been a cut at this tournament. So if the first 9 years there were just 8 players, grew to 12 and 30 and 66 and 105 last year, and 123 this year. Woozy third shot, you can see. Pin placing not easy. Just coming back a little off that ridge. Number 2 in the Volvo rankings, of course, it's been a ding-dong battle all year long with Colin Montgomery. Last year between Monty and Sam Torrance, went all the way to Valderrama. May happen again. Now here's Bernhard Langer with the long handle putter. Worked pretty well for him yesterday. And working pretty well today. I wonder when he might make the switch. Been known, as well as having problems with injuries, he's been suffering on the greens once again this year. 2 under. Yesterday was a 67, so 1 over today. And the view down on the clubhouse, and Ian Woosnam, who was complaining that his rival Colin Montgomery seemed on the first day of a tournament to get the morning starts, to put the pressure on. Well, Monty goes out this afternoon on day 2, and Ian Woosnam has a great chance to reverse the tables, really, and to have Monty looking at the leaderboard as soon as he tees up. And we're seeing Colin Montgomery and Sevi Ballesteros and company in the second half of these highlights. You see them with 3 wins, the first 2 in Singapore and in Perth, then at the Volvo German Open 3 weeks ago. A little bit of bobble in the early part of the putt, and that normally means it's going to finish short. Andrew Coulthard. 2 over today. It's the sensible shot to aim at the pin. If the wind takes it a little bit to the right, well, so be it. You've still got a putt, which you haven't got if you go left. We could deal with a birdie here. And then maybe just a fraction of an enormous divot, maybe a fraction heavy, coming up short. I should think he'll be off to the practice ground again. No one more dedicated. Chip back, who's feeling the cold a little. If we're getting close to see, he's pretty well wrapped up. The man who once fired a 59 in the 91 Las Vegas Invitational, and tied second in the recent Buick Open, so he's starting to find a little bit of form. So I suppose Vijay Singh playing for the international side in the President's Cup. Winner here in 94, of course, with Frank Novello and Nick Price, previous winners, not here. Just started out on its way pretty quick and a big swing. Looks a little disappointing, but really didn't want to chase that one too far past. Team Ryder Cup captain Sevi Ballesteros would really love to see Nick Faldo getting a lot of qualifying points this week and next. He's not down to play too much in Europe next year. So if he were to win this week, and it's probably unlikely now, but perhaps next week, and perform well in the majors, he could still get himself one of the automatic bits. Remember, Sebi will only have 2 to make. I'd like slightly more, but I don't think he's going to get them. This is for a 70 level par then. Tentative. Already in the clubhouse, Antoine Leboc of France with 69 and a 70, 1 under. Ian Woosnam then for his par at the 8th. Takes due care and attention over that one. It was one about that length that Monty went to tap in yesterday and missed. As you say, with that punishing schedule, won't be playing in the Alfred Dunhill Cup. He's going to have that week off because the following week it's the World Match Play Championship, and that could be for it's 36 holes a day. So means that Paul Affleck most likely come into the Welsh team for St Andrews alongside Mark Moulin and Philip Price. And one of the Scottish team, Andrew Coulthard, just lining up his attempt for a birdie 3 at the 9th. This is for a 71, open with a 66 yesterday. Had a terrific season. You know, I know it, he knows it. All he really needs is a win now on the CV. Good. Fair to say, a little disappointed that that didn't go in. 72 then. You can just hear the wind rustling through the trees, and it may be that this afternoon conditions are going to be even harder. As he started at the 10th, started so well with a couple of birdies, and at that stage led the tournament. There's Andrew Alcorn at the 16th for the par 5. Much longer this year, been a new tee in, 33 yards longer. It's not so easy to get up into. That's Andrew's third shot. New bunker, front left as well. Now go on. Beautiful shot. All sorts of ways to make you birdie. Back to 9 and rocker. This is for a 68 as well. You open with a 68 to settle at 3 under, but that's nicely placed. Won't be so far away. And that's a pretty good round. It's set for that bogey at 9. And that's a result of a wild tee shot way to the right. We never saw the second in, but fair to say that it was a little bit tough for him. And Nick Fowler surely has to make this cut maybe 3, 4, 5 around that mark. Just depends on the conditions in the afternoon. Four over may just make it. I'm sure the sponsors would want Nick Fowler around for the weekend. Nicely done. And so for Nick Fowler, that's a 71, headed in the right direction after his opening 73. But not much happening on the back 9 holes, 1 to 9, 34th to the turn, but dropping 2 shots on the way home. So suspect it's Nick Fowler on his way to the practice ground. There's a situation. Jamie Spence and Colin Montgomery, Jesper Parnevik, all to go out this afternoon. We'll be back after the break to see Ian Woosnam to see if he can set a target at 7 under. Welcome back to San Nom, second round of the Trophée Lancôme. This is Bernhard Langer on the 8th hole, his 17th. 1 over today. Let's see if we get a look at the caddy. I suspect it may be Peter Coleman back on the bag. He's had a little bit of a busman's holiday over in the States, caddying for Scott Hoke. Also from Colin Montgomery denying that he split with his coach Bill Ferguson. They'll be working together next week at Loch Lomond. You can see all 4 days of the Loch Lomond Invitational on Eurosport. And here's Peter Coleman back on the bag. Well, they're the previous winners. Colin Montgomery, defending champion. Vijay Singh, of course, in the President's Cup. Ian Woosnam won this in '93. Mark Rowe playing this week. Opened quite well yesterday. 68. On the side of the course, Peter Baker's played pretty well, 67 and a 69 in the clubhouse At 4 under, Howard Clark a 74. Go with his opening 67. This is Chip Beck, third shot at the 8th. Beg your pardon. Second shot at the 9th. Because Chip Beck playing with Ian Woosnam and Lee Westwood now. Woosie got a few problems. You can see the wind off to the left, the water on the left-hand side. It doesn't quite know how it's going to come out of the rough. He's got to keep it under the branches. It's a brave shot. Maybe he should just play for the heart of the green. Maybe he should just nobble it. Oh dear. Well, we'll be kind, say that was a layup. I suspect the lie was a little bit uncertain. So now he's fighting to save his par. Usually the winner here in 93. An opening 64 and then a 65, and there he is, top of the leaderboard at the moment. You can see confirmation of Peter Baker's score, and of course Jamie Spence, the first round leader, up this afternoon. Gordon Sherry, not much is going right for Gordon in his first few tournaments as a pro. Retired, pulled out after a poor opening first round. An outside chance to save his par. Just see Lee Westwood making his way onto the green. Lee Westwood took me to task on the practice ground at Coventry. Said, I heard you call me a hacker in Czechoslovakia or the Czech Open. He meant double bogey, didn't he? 16-70 when he had a chance to win. And he said, that shot out the bunker, I didn't thin it, and I was plugged. I apologise, couldn't really see that from Paris. Right. Bernhard Langer for birdie at 8. That's sometimes the problem as you get used to the long handle putts. They're so effective from about 15, 14 feet in. That's where the problems often come. 8, 9, 10 feet for Bernhard, but the slightly longer putts, it takes a while to get used to them. It's not quite so much feel. Chip Beck for 71. Been opened with the 70. Years old. 4 times winner on the United States Tour. As we said, 3 times a runner-up in major championships. I don't know if he expected the wind to act on that, or whether it was just a misread. Ooh. That's the one that tests the nerve ends. A par for Langer. Just. He was asked yesterday, where do you go if the long handle doesn't work? Well, I'm sure he'll find somewhere. Lee Westwood, though, a 75 yesterday left him with plenty to do, and a 72. I don't think that's going to be good enough. He's had a fabulous year, but 7 over. I fancy that might be a weekend off. Woosie then for a second successive 67. And that will strike the first blow at Colin Montgomery. Go on. No, it's a 68, so drops a shot at his last hole, but 5 under, shares the lead with Jamie Spence, who still has to go out. For 68, and only the one bogey on the card, and it came at the final hole. We'll be seeing much of Woosie at the weekend. And he's set the target. We'll be back at Saint-Nom, La Bretèche for more action from round 2 of the Trophée Lancôme after the break. But there's the situation at the moment. Woosnam setting the target in the clubhouse, 1 ahead of Peter Baker. It's all there for to do for Jamie Spence, Colin Montgomery, Jesper Parnevik. Good round also for Costantino Rocca. And Ross Drummond's made a good start to his second round. We're back at Saint-Nom, La Bretèche for the second round of the Trophée Lancôme on the outskirts of Paris, close to Versailles. And looks like we're into the afternoon action. Indeed we are. Jesper Parnevik, the Swede, making his move into a share of the lead. You see Silvio Grappasoni going well. Ian Woosnam, Peter Baker, Costantino Rocca, who all played in the morning. Let's round up the morning play for you, shall we? First of all, Bernhard Langer finished with a 71. He's 2 under. He played with David Guilford, who had a 68 to go with his opening 75. Stephen Ames had a 66 after an opening 75, and Stuart Cage, who opened with a 66, had a 74 today. Go on. Oh. Well, he just may wait a few seconds just in case, but I don't think that's going to drop. And just to complete the morning highlights, really, Rolf Muntz from Holland, a 66 after an opening 74. And Mark Rowe, who opened with a 68, had a 73. And let's concentrate on our feature groups this afternoon. Of course, yes, but in one of those 3 groups. And here's Ross Drummond, open with a 68. And there's a second 68, and he's 4 under. And ever so quietly, Ross Drummond might just be having the best year of his long and sometimes undistinguished career. He's been one of the chorus line, but there have been signs this year, a new, stronger, more positive Ross Drummond. And he must be delighted with that. If we get a view of his caddy, Lawrence Donegan, a journalist who's writing a book about his experiences on tour with Ross, it's going to be quite a good read, I would imagine. 67 for Silvio Grappasoni, so the Italian on 4 under as well. Let's see a little bit of Silvio tomorrow. Let's take a look at that leaderboard. You can see Woosnam still at the top with Jesper Parnevik. Parnevik has a chance to take the lead himself, with 1 or 2 birdie opportunities to come. You can see that Colin Montgomery not on that first page. He slipped back a little bit. And here's Sam Torrance, the man that Monty beat into second place last week. 1 over at the moment. Open with a 68, but okay, I was watching the pictures last week and the Cannon Shootout final as well, and that putter working pretty well for Sam. When the Ryder Cup bugle sounds, he's your man. I'm feeling he might not make the team next year, but I think I could be wrong already. No one more determined. And controversy about Jesper Parnevik, not officially a member of the European Tour, and they say that rules him out of earning qualifying points this week, which he seems a little bit daft, but maybe they get round it. So as it stands, he'll have to rely on being one of Seve's 2 picks. Plays full-time in America these days, playing pretty well. A couple of weeks ago, 3rd in the Greater Milwaukee Open, which if he'd birdied the last hole he would have won. If he'd parred it, he would have been in the playoff, and he bogeyed. And he's a fine player. I imagine Seve could do with him in the team if he's playing anything like half decent. Here's Ronan Rafferty. th, as we mentioned earlier, this hole some 33 yards longer. It really would take 2 of the Sunday best to get up. Wind off the left-hand side, not really helping. Rafferty playing with Per-Ulrik Johansson and Colin Montgomery. There's Jamie Spence, the story of his round so far. Not a good one, I'm afraid. He's just got a birdie at the 5th hole, but that follows 3 bogeys in a row, and he slipped back from 5 under at the start of the day to 2 under, so 3 off the pace. Now, we talked about 2 of the Sunday best, and Colin Montgomery, there is no better player in the world at playing a driver off the deck. I know with metal woods it's a little bit easier to do, but it's still tough for most of us. The driver out, he's going for broke. And if that's got the customary Monty fade, may have a chance of getting close. Oh, that's a beauty. What a shot. Well, he really hasn't been going that well. It's been par golf most of the way. But he's got a putt for eagle, and that will put him right back in contention. Third win of the season last week. First time he's won in Cron.
Must have topped it.
And back on this new tee, Sam Torrance. See, back to level par now.
Go on.
That's gone a long drive from Sam on the other side of the course. Ignacio Garrido at 69 to go with his opening 73, and Paul Hills at 69 to go with his 71. And let's take a look at Sam's swing. His dad and coach Bob Torrance watched him on TV at Coventry, I think it must have been, and so the top and bottom halves weren't really that coordinated. And Dad knows best, and Sam produced some sparkling golf last week, having missed the cut at Coventry, and he laid into that one. And the Parvic joint leader. People felt he should have been in the last Ryder Cup team, never mind the next one. Nick Faldo, of course, plays in America full time, but he's an honorary member of the European Tour, so there may be a little bit of scope there. Now Paul McGinley at the 18th signature hole, 6 over, and the cut looking at 4 and 5, so Paul certainly needs a birdie here. Par 3, water on the right. And was safely on, maybe half a club more. Giving himself a chance. 209 yards. McGinley, first time winner in the Hua Booker in Austria. There's David Howe in his rookie season, former Walker Cup player from Swindon, only 36 and going pretty well, 3 under, just 2 off the pace. He's achieved his first objective of retaining his card fairly comfortably. I guess now the target will be Valderrama and the season-ending Volvo Masters. Here's Seve. Maybe just down on the right-hand side. Seve tied 4th last week, and that was most encouraging. David Howe 63rd in the Volvo rankings, so he's got to get himself into the top 50, and this would be a good week to have a good week. Has fun to £650,000. Beautiful touch. This is Colin Montgomery for eagle. You see 2 over today. This will get him back to level par and to 4 under and put him just 1 shot off the pace. Level with Baker, Grappasoni and Drummond. I don't expect him to leave this one short. Great players know when there's an opportunity to make their move. That one, oh, right at the hole. They finished 3 or 4 feet past, but Monty was never considering that. That was always going in, as far as he was concerned. 4 under. And he's going to give Ian Woosnam a run for his money this week. It's going to be a fascinating battle. It was last year, wasn't it, between Torrance and Montgomery? Probably be equally so this time round. Just adds to the interest. Monty going for a record equalling 4th successive Order of Merit win to equal Peter Oosterhouse's record. And look, it was struck. That was the secret. It was well struck. It was trying to get away to the right, but it had the pace to hold the line. Won last year, of course, with a memorable up and down at 18, whereas we find Tony Johnston. He's playing with Paul McGinley. He's when just gusting a little bit. Mind if it's consistent. It's when it swirls and gusts, just makes club selection that a little bit harder. Now Seve, right side of 17. Oh, beautifully played. Now just check. Torrance deciding that he can't get on at 16, so not going with the wood, just laying far enough back that he can get a full sand iron to the ball and get close enough to get some check, some action on the ball, and maybe make his birdie that way. Spapanovic, on the other hand, thinks that he can get on. It's the only reason for really going with the driver. It's a chance to take the lead. Here's Barry Lane though. On 17, playing with Paul Broadhurst and Seve. Barry started with a 69, as did Seve yesterday. It was a 68 for Paul Broadhurst, so a useful trio. Well, the caption said 3rd shot, so he may have found problems off the tee. I have to check that one out, but definitely said 3rd shot, and if he hit it in the trees and could only come out sideways, that might explain why he found it was in range, and Sam Torrance didn't. Eagle Monty, you see a little bit agitated. I think maybe 1 or 2 cameras in the gallery. .422 yards, slight dogleg from left to right, and he's overdone it. It's about where Seve was, and the 1 or 2 trees there. Can hit a draw as well when he wants to, as he demonstrated to 1 or 2 players. Jesper Parnevik, I think, yesterday when there was a hold up on the tee. Now Seve for a birdie. Could do with one, a little bit from right to left. Go on. Almost. Well, I should be here for the weekend. And back is David Howell. So he's up 3 under with a par at 13. for Broadhurst. Began the day at 2 under. Something of a streaky putter when he's on form. He's very good indeed. He goes to 1 under now. Oh, Sam, having laid back with his second shot, won't be ecstatic about where that one's finished. And neither will Paul McGinley to make a birdie now. I fear that is one too many. Wayne Riley, who was quite a character this tournament last year when he rebounded off a spectator at 17, you remember, made a birdie and went up and kissed the spectator. Been all right, but it was a bloke. He's also missed the cut. So it's a chance for Colin Montgomery perhaps to catch Ian Woosnam. We'll find out if he can after these. Welcome back. If you're still awake, it's the second round of the Trophée Lancôme. And Colin Montgomery, having just made an eagle at 16 to be 1 off the pace, has problems at 17. Just overdid his customary fade off the tee. Rather blocked out by those trees. You see it is a slight dogleg from left to right, and he was trying to shape his ball around the dogleg, leaving himself just a medium iron into the green. And maybe the wind just gusted. It's off the left hand side, and the result is problems for Monty. Now here's Seve, who's playing in his 17th Trophée Lancôme. Nobody's played more. He's won it 4 times and twice lost in the playoff. Into the sand, and didn't want to be any further right. If it drifted on the wind, would have been into the water. You can see he just knocked it straight up. And now, well, now we're still saying third shot for Jesper Parnevik, so maybe he didn't drive into the trees. Being the case, the 2 drivers would have done the trick. That's for a birdie in the lead. Still Colin Montgomery debating, can I get it up anywhere near the green at all? You see there is a little route forward, but it's fraught with problems, and maybe he's deciding to expression the better part of valor, and let's come out sideways and hope we can pitch and putt. Well, he's actually hit it quite high, and he was trying to cut it round, but I think it caught branches again. That being the case, he's a little fortunate to be in the middle of the fairway. You see, he's still quite a long way, an 8 iron or so, away from the pin. There's Sam Torrance, his 14th appearance in this tournament. This is for birdie. No. Well, he never misses them by much. Always played this tournament here at Saint Nom, but over the years they've used 3 different combinations of holes from the red and the blue, and Sam shares the course record on the second course they used with Seve. A chance to save par. Current course record 62, which was equal by Jean-Louis Guépy last year, was set in 89 by Matt Slaner, but I don't think that's going to go. I think the £3,000 from Johnny Walker for a new course record can stay in the bank this week, because they have toughened this course up in 1 or 2 places. And here's the maestro from Sand. Shorts distracting him, maybe a little bit of movement behind. It's an awkward, you can see it's right, it's such a stylish clubhouse. It used to be the farmhouses of the Versailles estate. And there are always people walking behind.
People behind, could they stop behind the barriers, behind the people?
You see people always walking past to the tented village or to the clubhouse, and it's a noisy place as well. And it's okay if you're smack in the middle of the green, you don't notice it so much. But when you want to get up and down to ensure that you make the cut, you want people to be quiet. So that's not quite up to normal high standard of Seve. He's a little bit agitated by maybe the way the galleries, who always want to see Seve played, maybe by the way that they've been marshalled, a little bit unruly for the lead. Jesper Parnevik. 6 under with 2 to play and leader by 1. Towards the back of the field, David Howell, who's in the last match of the day. To the 14th is difficult par 4 uphill and 467 yards elevated green. It's okay. Just hopped over the edge of the bunker, and that's pretty good. Jesper Parnevik. You can see the leader now by 1 from Ian Woosnam. Just 2 holes to play, par 4 and a par 3, and you may be hoping that Monty and Woozy worrying about each other, maybe he could sneak in. Difficult driving hole, this 17th. That's okay. That was very good. Montgomery 4 under, and this to stay that way. No, so throws away one of the shots he picked up at the previous hole. Rounds last year 64, 69, 65 and 71, but it's for sure it's a tougher test this year. Of course, toughened up, and the wind making it trickier as well. Seve for a 74. Now, a 2-footer for a 75. Tricky pin placing, just on the edge of a little, or the crest of a little ridge. So that's a 75. To go with the opening 69. But at least he's here for the weekend. In fact, the cut will be 5 over. Looking to make the cut, needs no worse than a bogey here. Birdie would be nice. A bit more incentive for the weekend. Just the club selection all important. It can be as little as a 7, but it's as much as a 4, but I've gone somewhere in between with a 5 iron. The wind certainly not helping, perhaps a little against and quite hard off the left-hand side. Who likes playing links courses, he's on his way down to play Trophée, I think, soon. Make sure you play St Edinburgh as well. Now, sit. It's a popular spot, just a bit further left and longer was where Colin Montgomery had to play his shot to get up and down and deny Sam Torrance last year. Sam was second to Monty last year. It was nip and tuck, as we said, all the way to Valderrama. Of course, last year, Ispapanovic, first Swede to win in Scandinavia on the European Tour when he won the Volvo Scandinavian Masters. Unlucky to check so quickly. Well, not unlucky, that's what he meant to do, but could have perhaps done with an ounce or two more. Very quickly. Has that gone left as well? Oh, well, it has, and it's not dissimilar to the position he found himself in 12 months ago. The pin, as I recall, was cut a little further right. But certainly after making an eagle at 16, Montgomery won't want to finish bogey-bogey. Playing with Sebi Ballesteros was Paul Broadhurst, 71, so he's 1 under, and Barry Lane, 73, 2 over, but safely in for the last 2 rounds. Sam got a little bit of a flyer, and the rough one he has, but that's pretty good. Of the 3, he's closest. Okay, just an earring for Sam, and it really would look like Andre Agassi. Nice early autumn sunshine, good calories, and if the weather remains fair, I think even better expected tomorrow and Sunday. We're on same time for an hour, highlights of the 3rd round, in the twilight zone tomorrow, but a little bit earlier. About 6 o'clock Central European time for an hour and a half, 5 o'clock in the UK. That's on Sunday. It was Roger Davis back with an orthodox putter. He struggled like crazy this year, but he had an opening 70, and there were signs last week when he switched back to the short putter. It might just be doing the trick for Roger. Sometimes a change is good as a rest. It would be nice to see him pick up a good check. And this week he can certainly deal with one. It's Papanovic's caddy, who not kneeling on the green. The sharp-eyed amongst you may remember that last year he was caddying for Mark James. This year he's been spending most of his time, of course, on the US tour with Jesper. The side of the course, 74 for Darren Clark after an opening 67. Through a two-shot. Still leads by one, but that was awfully close. Pretty well the first time this year we've seen so many roll necks. There's the chip for Colin Montgomery. Not quite a repeat of last year. You see that little ridge. And oh! Thank you, Lord. Well, that's a nice way to finish, because I tell you what, that was 15 feet past. And he finishes eagle, bogey, birdie. And he finishes at 4 under, just one behind Ian Woosnam. And I suppose it's possible they could be playing together tomorrow. They won't be far away from each other. What a finish for Colin Montgomery. And we'll be back with our final action after this break. Welcome back and good morning to everybody in Central Europe. Last section of our second round highlights of the Trophée Lancôme. I'm Steve Beddow. And we've just seen Colin Montgomery chip in at this hole for a birdie. And he's in the clubhouse. Two behind this man, Jesper Parnevik, who leads by one from Ian Woosnam. And Monty was playing with Per-Ulrik Johansson, you may have seen, 78 to go with the 71. And Ronan Rafferty dropped a shot at a 75 to go with his 75 over par. But he will be here for the weekend, the cut. Looking almost certain to come at 5 over. You see the scoring, you may think it's been a little high, but in a tree line course such as this, which is on one or two different levels, the wind swirling through the trees does present extra problems. Doesn't like it. No, is that headed towards the bunker? It is.
Welcome.
The press gathered around the porter cabin, which is the recorder's hut for this week. Beyond up the hill, Tented Village. Well, David Howell still plugging away. (438 yards, and it's away to the left, and sometimes difficult when you can see none of the crowds really staying out. 4 or 5 loyal supporters, and they're probably there to watch Fabrice Tarnot. This could be useful. Doesn't like it, just a little left, but he's got a chance. Another putt for a 71. Ian Woosnam was just commenting on the the sand in the bunker's not quite the way that maybe the pros would like it. Here's Jamie Spence, who after that run of 3 bogeys in a row got one back and then dropped another, but he's still 2 under with 1 to play. He's finishing on the other side of the course, the 9th. One that was for a 72. And rightly marking and just running across on the other side. Of course, they're only about 30-40 yards away. Jesper Parnevik, the tournament leader, he needs to get up and down from here to stay 1 ahead. Well, not bad. We've seen Sevi go long. Jesper a little short. Three-quarter swing, exploding out, and it's just a question of will it release a little bit more, and it didn't. Never far away. 72 for Sam Torrance. Level par at the halfway stage, and just 6 off the pace, and maybe in a moment will be only 5 away. I still reckon he has a chance of victory. A bit of a wobble there at 7, a double bogey, and then dropped the shot at 8. Came back well. Green's pretty slick. One downhill and difficult to stop it. Roger Davis, former PGA champion, also won the Volvo Masters, and he may be with the short handle putter, but it's a Bernhard Langer grip. Maybe he's taking over where Bernhard leaves off as Bernhard goes to the long handle. Roger Davis with the Langer style. That was for a 71. Hopefully we'll tap him for his 72, and that will be okay. 2 over. When you lose a little bit of confidence, it's the first objective. Start making cuts, start playing 4 competitive rounds. It's the best place to put things right. These would have been the putts that were causing him trouble, and that one nicely in the middle. Well done, Roger. No birdies, just the 2 bogeys. Jamie Spence, 73, so he's finished at 2 under. Just to bring you up to date with 1 or 2 other good scores on the other side of the course. Carl Mason would finish with a 68 after a 73. Again, Angel Jimenez, a 68 to open, and then a 71. Getting towards the end of our broadcast behind this 3-ball, Jonathan Lomas would open with a 74, and he would be looking to close with a 69. But this is to retain the overnight lead or two. For 68. Reasonably aggressive. He's going to tap in, just carefully does it, and 69, 5 under. And he's got joint leaders, and Jesper Parnevik surely will be playing with Ian Woosnam at the back of the field tomorrow. And a drop shot for David Howell, who goes back to 2 under. As we come towards the end of our broadcast, I won't give too much away to say that David would par his way in for a 71 and finish at 2 under. So there you are, Ian Woosnam and Jesper Parnevik sharing the lead, one ahead of Peter Baker, Silvio Glapassoni, Ross Drummond and Colin Montgomery. Constantina Rocca still in this, so is Bernhard Langer, long handle putter and all. And could it be Andrew Coulthard's week? We seem to say that every week it's going to happen one time. Jamie Spence, confirmation that 73. And as I say, David Howell would hold his position. Good round also from Paul Eales, and the 66 from Rolf Muntz, one of the better rounds so far. Sam Torrance won't think that he's out of it either. So there you are, there are your scores. Thank you very much for staying with us on Eurosport. And the best thing for me about France is the wine, of course. And even at this ungodly hour, there will be a little bistro somewhere around the corner where myself and German and Dutch colleagues can sample a bottle of red and enjoy that. Our French commentator goes home, of course. So, you'll be getting to bed nice and early, and I hope that if you're playing tomorrow, play well. And I look forward to your company tomorrow evening. Cut at +5, Nick Faudo in, but it will be an early start for Nick. So we're back same time tomorrow on Eurosport, 11 o'clock Central Europe. Till then, from me, Steve Beddow, cheers.
The PGA European Tour was brought to you by Volvo.